Hi, welcome to MHA Foundation. I'm Jennifer Smith. I'm here today with Trevor Creighton. Trevor, you have a long history of amazing service in Rim Country.
Thank you.
And yes, thank you for all that you do. Today, though, we could focus on so many different areas where you've given back to the community, but today's focus is on the Longhorn Bike Park, which I know is something extremely near and dear to your heart.
It is definitely. The great thing about it was a piece of property that was unused for 30 years. Just kind of fenced in, so it's great to see it used
Yeah.
now in a great way.
It is a fantastic way. And so where is it located?
So it's located on the campus of Rim Country Middle School, kind of right by the parking lot there. And like I said, it was just a fenced-in, kind of bouldery, forested area that
Didn't really have a good purpose.
it didn't have a good purpose.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Not
for sure.
buildable, not
No,
something, yeah.
definitely not. So, and for years, Scott Davidson, who's ran the outdoor adventure club there and been a huge part of a lot of kids' lives, getting them outside and active, we kind of looked at him like, what can we do here, you
Yeah.
know? And then for a few years at the end of my career at the middle school, you say, it'd be cool to have a bike park. And a bike park is kind of like a gym for cyclists. It's a way to practice your skills, your cornering, your braking, even getting off the ground a little bit, moving your bike, pumping your bike. So all those things that relay to good mountain bike skills on trail, you can practice in more of a controlled environment.
That's
Like,
great.
that'd be great if we had a bike park there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So that's really the purpose of it is for the practice, but also for the development of relationships and confidence and all of those other things too.
Yeah, yeah. One of those things of giving kids something to do in town. But not only kids. My favorite is driving by now and seeing kids and dads on their bikes
Oh.
there, and kids and moms and things like that. So the whole family affair. out
I
there on the
love
bike
that.
park. Yeah,
That is really
yeah.
fantastic. So, one of the natural questions that tends to come up is about liability. How does that work with liability, insurance, et cetera?
Yeah.
Is that going to be a problem, do you anticipate?
I don't, and that was one of our first questions.
Sure.
Because I'm a rule follower in that
Yeah.
regard for sure. So that kind of the initial conversation went immediately to that, and I had learned previously that there was a elementary school in the Cottonwood area that had a bike park on campus. And so I called the principal and I said, "How did you do this?" And they're like, "I don't know much about it, but this guy Kevin Adams sure does." And Kevin Adams, one of the principal founders of Wheel Fun, who is an organization. I believe you had Evan on the podcast.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
So great organization. They're all about getting kids on bikes, and they have built 3 of these bike parks on school campuses. And the state trust covers the liability, just like the state trust covers liability if you're on the football field
Playground
or on
or-
the playground.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And you have specific approval from them and all of that good stuff?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
and signage is a big thing,
Yeah.
and locking it at night and those types of things, so it's not just open willy nilly.
Sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
So we made sure that was a thing, and fostering that relationship with Wheel Fund was definitely the way to do it. Our original plan was to kind of just let's go try to build a bike park on our own, and then I went and I toured one of the facility in Cottonwood and realized quickly that this can't just be a bunch of us with skid steers out on a Saturday trying to do this on our own. So we partnered with Wheel Fund, and they were great as far as helping to raise money. And I was super happy that it was, we raised over $100,000 for this bike park. And, major sponsors from, out of state, international companies like Trek, and then also Arizona Community Foundation. But we had a lot of local support for it. And MHA Foundation came through with one of the hardest parts for us, was the initial taking care of the plans for the park.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to fund shovel-ready projects.
They want to fund the end.
They want to fund the end.
Yeah.
And so having MHA Foundation on board to fund the beginning so that we can go after the money for the rest of it was key.
That's awesome. Yeah, planning grants can be very difficult to get, so
Yeah.
totally understand that. So, how did the project start? You mentioned that you were talking with Mr. Davidson,
Yeah.
and is that sort of the genesis of it?
Started the genesis, and then we talked to Shelby Wilson, the principal at RCMS, and Linda Gibson as well, the superintendent. And hey, we want to build up a bike park. And pretty much both of their responses were great. what's a bike park? You know, so I just love the heart, that, if it's good for the kids, let's do it. Let's figure
Yeah.
out a way. And they were both on board immediately. And then, like I said, partnered up with Wheel Fund to make it happen. And they've been, yeah. And so it was a great process all the way through. Stressful moments for sure, working with contractors,
Oh, yeah.
working with all the things that go along with major projects.
It's a lot to juggle, even with a small project.
Yeah. But yeah, well worth it.
Excellent. So who can use the park?
Anybody can use the park. During non-school hours.
Mm-hmm.
So we have it locked during school hours. So it's open from 8 to dusk during non-school time. So it's open on the weekends, and it'll be open through the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anybody can be out there, and it's non-motorized only, obviously. So it's only bikes, that you can use on there. No scooters or anything like that.
Yeah.
But just to, we had the money to do this once, so we want to do it right, and we want to protect it
Of course.
in that way. So yeah,
I love that. That is so fantastic. So it's been open for a little while now.
About a month.
A month.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So have you had any feedback or heartwarming stories or anything that you would like to share with the community?
Yeah, beyond just seeing families
Sure.
and kids out there, but I know there's a local family who, that was kind of, their son was on a Strider bike, and this was kind of he needed the big boy bike now so that he could ride the bike park. So they got him on a little mountain bike, and he's out there just absolutely crushing it. And another thing too is we have a NICA team in town now, which is it's a scholastic mountain bike race team. We have 4 of our kids that are racing. And, before the bike park was open, I would go out and check the construction on it. They'd be in the parking lot using cones to practice their cornering and things
wow.
like that. And so now we have a place, for our NICA team, for our outdoor adventure kids, and then just the community at large.
That is so fantastic. And so is this also an opportunity, the maintenance of it, for the kids to get some of their volunteer hours into?
100%. Yeah. Yep. And we'll do quarterly maintenance projects on it, and they're pretty simple, brushing the corridors and kind of repairing some of the lines, because it's getting used. And that was the nice thing too that Wheel Fund had mentioned, that our park of the 4 is the one that's being used the most.
Oh, that's great.
A month in. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you, Trevor. I appreciate you coming and joining us today. And as always, I appreciate everything that you do for the community and your heart for kids and just all of those wonderful things we can all say about Trevor Creighton. So thank you so much.
Thank you.